What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and Hollywood really has a special way of ruining people, right? Or should I say special ways of ruining people? Because sometimes you see these bright young stars, they get famous and they self-destruct. But you can tell that they're self-destructing. And they're self-destructing because of their own actions. Because maybe they got too much money. They spent a little too much of it on substances. And they go downhill. But in other situations, you can tell that it's not necessarily a self-destruction, that the destruction is caused by Hollywood itself. Not other outside forces, not inside forces, but by Hollywood. And one of those examples, or a perfect example of that, in my opinion, is Amanda Bynes. I believe that Amanda Bynes didn't self-destruct. I don't think that it was necessarily Amanda Bynes' own doing that got Amanda Bynes where she is at today. And I am someone that strongly believes in self-accountability and holding people accountable, and not blaming the world, not blaming everything else for your problems. But when it comes to some of these Hollywood stars, mainly these child stars that grow up in Hollywood, there's no denying that a lot of the destruction of their lives is not because of their own doing. It's because of how wicked Hollywood is and how Hollywood sucks the soul out of these people. You see these bright, young, talented, outgoing stars come in sometimes. They got this glow in their eye. And then before you know it, as the years go by, they become hollow, empty, almost lifeless versions of themselves. Sure, some turn to substances, some turn to other things. I agree. But in many cases, it's Hollywood itself that is destroying these people. And at this point, we've had enough examples of it to know what the common factor is. The common factor isn't what you think. The common factor is Hollywood. Some will say the common factor is drugs. The common factor is alcohol. No, the common factor is Hollywood. So what is happening to these young people? Sitting down watching the Amanda Show, sitting down watching Amanda Bynes, on various movies, on all that, I would have never thought in a million years that 10 or 15 years in the future, Amanda Bynes would be found walking naked through the streets of LA. Yet here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. For those of you all who might not know or might not be up to date, a few weeks ago I reported to you all that Amanda Bynes was found roaming the streets of Los Angeles, in a bad neighborhood at that, completely naked. She was having some type of mental breakdown, some type of episode. And luckily, someone finally stopped and she called for help. Now, there's been questions as to what has happened since then. And people are worried, and rightfully so. And I think this is something that we should pay attention to. Because oftentimes when these stars have these mental breakdowns, I really wonder what causes it. I wonder if it's just something that happens within them, or if there is an outside force, Hollywood, that is causing these things to happen. One thing I do know is that Amanda Bynes has had a history of issues. Amanda Bynes was once on a conservatorship. Amanda Bynes got off of that conservatorship. She had a boyfriend, a rocky relationship, but she seemed to be doing better. And when I say doing better, she was not the Amanda Bynes that you would think of her as. And, I never knew her personally, so I can't speak to who she was as a person. But the person we see nowadays is very different than the person you would think she is. Very different than the person you saw on screen. But I do know recently there was a 90s convention where the cast of All That was getting together to do some panels, sign some autographs for fans. A little reunion of sorts at a convention. Amanda Bynes was supposed to be at that convention. And it just so happens on the same weekend of that convention, Amanda Bynes loses it again. So I'm wondering what really caused it. Because here we had Amanda Bynes, who has supposedly been doing better for a while now, who for the first time in a long time actually made a commitment to return to meet the cast of, or to return to reunite with the cast of All That, to be in front of fans and people again. I wonder if that's something that drove her over the edge, or did she have a meeting with someone about it and that person put her over the edge? I don't know. But a lot of people have been questioning where she is, and I can now confirm that she is still at this time in a mental hospital, undergoing therapy, and hopefully getting better. But oftentimes when it comes to these celebrities, and I guess when it comes to anyone in general, but a lot of times with these celebrities, I really wonder and I really worry when they go for mental health treatment. I don't know how many of you all follow up with Kanye West, but during a lot of the Kanye West drama that happened more recently, he got some messages from one of his trainers that really concerned me. And we know that a lot of wicked, dark stuff happens in Hollywood. And sometimes I wonder what really happens to these stars when they go to these treatment facilities. What type of stuff are they putting these people on? What type of stuff are these people going through? And don't get me wrong, I know about all types of rabbit holes when it comes to this stuff. I'm not here to dive down those rabbit holes, but I'm aware of them and I've dived down them before. But on the surface, without even going that deep, what's really happening to these people? But let's go ahead and dive into this article. Amanda Bynes remains in mental hospital. Outpatient treatment once she's out. It's been nearly 3 weeks since Amanda Bynes was first admitted to a mental health hospital. And while her release date is still undetermined, those around her are already formulating a plan to make sure she stays on the right path. Sources close to the actress tell us both Amanda and the medical staff have been taking her stay week by week. We're told she's not being forced to stay at the facility, but doesn't quite feel ready to leave yet. When she is, though, she'll enroll in an outpatient mental health treatment program. Our sources say because Amanda is no longer under a conservatorship, which ended in 2022 after 9 years, she can make her own medical decisions. Amanda has worked with the medical staff to ensure she's supported when she gets out, and an outpatient program will keep her on track, meeting with her doctors and specialists. While we're told reports that Amanda's parents have been by her side through the hospital stay are not true, our sources say her parents do still support her in any way that they can. So, if this is true, I'm glad that Amanda is at least in the mental state to know that, hey, I'm not ready to leave yet. From what they say, Amanda is free to leave on her own whenever she wants. So if that's true, then I'm glad that Amanda has at least a firm enough grasp on this issue that she knows, like, hey, I'm not ready to leave yet. You know, maybe I need to stay longer. So I think that's a good sign. I think that's a positive step. I mean, it might not be the biggest thing to you, but I mean, baby steps when it comes to mental health. So if she's at least in a place in her mind that she knows that mentally she's not ready to leave yet, then that tells me that she's at least capable of making, I guess, good decisions or better decisions than she was making a few weeks ago. But what really happened here? What triggered this? I find it odd that Amanda was doing okay. I mean, there was some weird things happening here and there. But for the most part, she was doing okay. And then all of a sudden, right here, when she's supposed to meet up with the cast of All That and kind of relive her childhood, this breakdown happens. And I can confirm that she was supposed to be at that convention, which I believe was in Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken, all the way across the country. And she was supposed to be there and was basically canceled it at the last minute. So if she was in the mental space to travel across the country and do a convention, or at least she thought she was, and then when the time came, all of a sudden she has this breakdown, I wonder if it had something to do with her thinking about her past. I think that a lot of things probably happened to Amanda Bynes in her childhood. And I would love for Amanda Bynes to be able to tell the story one day, to really open up about what she has gone through and what led her to where she is now, because I believe Amanda knows the root of her issues. And knowing, like I said, I can't get over the fact that this breakdown happened right when this reunion with her old, her old co-workers, her old cast members, our castmates. I really feel like there may be a connection there. Maybe there's some memories that she's had suppressed or, inside of her or something that came out that caused this breakdown. But I would believe that there's probably some sort of connection, and I would like to know what that connection is. But I guess that's something personal for Amanda. But at least we now know what's going on, because there was kind of a dry spell there. Well, where I was wondering, like, did she just check out and walk out of the mental health hospital and now she's walking around naked, on the streets of LA again? What is really going on? So as of right now, she's okay. Let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.